Hey everybody, I'm Kevin with Kemp Outside. We're your inside source for all things outside. On today's episode of Kemp Outside, we're doing a gear review on the ultimate road trip vehicle and camping vehicle for the Kemp family, our Kemp bus, the Nissan NV Passenger 3500. Check it out. So thanks for watching Kemp Outside. Before I go any further, I would ask you to hit that subscribe button if you like what you see, and follow along with us for more episodes on camping, hiking, fishing, how-to videos, gear reviews, and more. So on today's episode of Kemp Outside, I wanted to show you the vehicle that we use to get outside. We are a family of 4, sometimes 5. So I've got 2 boys that my wife and I adopted, and they're 15 and 11. And then sometimes my mother goes camping with us or fishing with us as well. So sometimes we have up to 5 people in the van, plus our dog, plus all of our camping gear, our fishing gear, just a ton of stuff, coolers, a dog crate, a whole bunch of stuff. So I've been a pickup guy my whole life. I've owned everything from a Ford Ranger to an F-250 crew cab diesel. So I've always been a truck guy. Throw it in the bed of the truck and go. But once we adopted our kids and my mom came along, we just decided that a pickup truck just wasn't enough room with 5 people and a dog. So I went to a full-size van. Now. That is, it's a big change. Not having a pickup bed to throw gear in and stuff is kind of a new challenge for me, because I kind of have to pack everything. Even though it's a big van, it doesn't have an open truck bed. But I really like it, and I want to show it to you. So check it out. So starting with the exterior, the Nissan NV 3500 passenger is built on the same frame as the Nissan Titan pickup truck. So it definitely drives like a truck. It feels like a truck. And what I really like about the NV is that the engine sits way out in front of the van, rather than a lot of the vans that you see from Ford and Chevy. The engine is pushed back, so it almost splits the driver and the front passenger. And so the engine is all the way forward, which gives you ample space to work on it if you need to. And definitely gives you more room in the cab of the van. The van has a driver's side door and a front passenger door. It has a sliding door on the passenger side. There is not one on the driver's side. So for minivans, we have them on both sides. For people who own those, this will be a little bit of getting used to. And it has 2 cargo doors in the rear. So with that, let's show you the interior. Okay, so time to show you the inside. This is the driver's side. So on the driver's side door, there is a very nice deep map pocket that we use for things like hand sanitizer, extra meds. There's a little first aid kit. It's a really nice deep pocket. And it's on both the driver's side door and the passenger side door, so it's really nice. The other thing I really like is this van has a ton of storage. So under the driver's side seat is a little pull-out tray. You can't access it while driving, so that's a bummer. I'm sorry about the shadow, but it does. It is a great place to store items when you're parked somewhere and you don't want things visible, like iPads or phones or wallets or those kind of things. So let me hop up in and I'll show you the dashboard. Okay, so everything's laid out pretty nicely in the van. I'm going to go ahead and start it because it's warm in here. I'll give you an idea what the instrumentation kind of like. So it's got an orange display, which is nice both in the daylight and in the dark. It's easy to see. It has a temperature gauge, RPM gauge, speedometer, and then a fuel gauge, and then it's got a multi-function dash. So you can see I've got 62,451 miles on this van. It's given me 218 miles to empty on half a tank. That's a lie. This van gets about 325 to 350 gallons on a tank, unless I'm pulling a trailer. So the first bar that you see there, that is the transmission temperature. That's really nice for pulling trailers. I really like being able to see how hot my transmission temp gets. Pulling my boat, I have not seen it ever get hot, so that's good. It's got a nice transmission cooler. It gives you an average miles per hour. I don't know why that's important at all. It's got time, and then it's got a tire information system. So when you hit enter, and I haven't rolled yet, so once the tires roll, they'll give you a PSI reading. Let's see, what else can I do here? Exit. And then if you hit the button, so there's that's your oil gauge. Hit it again, battery gauge, and like I said, I like the trans temp gauge. So that really is what I set it on, especially because I'm pulling a trailer a lot. When I'm pulling a trailer, I don't get very good miles per gallon. It's around 7.5 to 8. So I only get about 200 miles on a tank, if that, pulling the boat. So it does not have good fuel consumption compared to my previous diesel truck when pulling a trailer, but I just kind of live with it. So when I'm driving, I use a window mount for my phone, and I typically just throw it up there and don't use it. But I also have an iPad mount right there. I put my iPad up there, and that's what I use for my navigation, weather radar, all kinds of things, all throughout my trip, whether I'm rolling or not. I have all of my information right there at my fingertips, and I typically have my wife in the passenger seat operate the iPad if anything needs to be changed while I'm driving, or if I'm just parked, I'll go ahead and manipulate it myself. The van does have in-dash navigation. It does not do CarPlay, which is a bummer. So that's why I use my iPad. And then I have wires all zip tied in, so that goes into the volume of the iPad. And then I've got a power lead that comes up on that side. It has, but it does have Bluetooth, so that's nice. Bluetooth to my phone. You can zoom in and out on the map. It does work okay, but I am not going to pay Nissan $100 a year for a new chip when I can just run my phone and run Waze, or my iPad and run Waze for free. So I'm not gonna pay Nissan for their new chip every year that goes in there. The sound is pretty good. It does have a backup camera. If I put the van in reverse, you can see that. So there's the backup camera with the guides. The guides don't turn, so if you're backing up and turning, you can see sometimes in some cars those will move. They do not move in the van. They are pretty accurate though. If there's anything inside that line and you back up, you will hit it. And it will beep when it gets to the red. Other than that, going down, it does have dual climate control, which is nice. So I can crank it all the way on 60, and then my wife can, have it warmer for her if she wants. In Florida, I just leave it on 60 all the time because it's 91 degrees outside and it's the 2nd of May. So, it's hot. It does have nice big vents. The AC does blow nice and cold in this van. It also has rear AC, which is controlled right here. So turn that to high, turn that all the way down to cold, and it'll blow through the roof vents in the back, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then also, if you turn it to hot, it blows hot air out under the floor. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that down because it gets loud. And then it's got lights and, you know, a sunglass holder, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, more storage. It's got a little cubby hole here. I'm not really sure what that was for. I throw business cards in there. It's got down here the controls. This is the heater, heated seats. It does have an AC inverter, which is great. We use that for laptops on the road. My wife and I own our own business. It's a graphic design and marketing business, so we're constantly working from the road. Tow mode changes the transmission settings so that when you're pulling a trailer, it'll downshift to brake on a downhill to help you with braking, which is nice. It does have you know, sensors for, you know, backing up and actually it has forward facing sensors as well, and you can turn those off. They do sometimes go off in the rain, in really heavy rain, so I turn those off when I need to do that, and then obviously when I'm pulling a trailer and backing up, I turn them off too, because it'll drive me crazy trying to back the boat down at the ramp. And then there's the seat heater for the passenger side, and then it does have an aux audio connector and a USB for the stereo. And then I'm going to show you my gross cup holders because they need to be cleaned out, but it's got 2 cup holders in the center console and then a pen holder and a little change holder over there. And then it's got a deep pocket down between the cup holders and then the center console here area. So I have a seat belt cutter and glass cutter and an extra emergency light. And it's got 2 more cup holders right here, so I can hold a total of 4 drinks up front. And then that's a neat little place out of the way for your garage door opener. The console is very large and very deep, and it slides forward. And I think that's left over from the cargo van, the work van version of these things, so that if you needed a writing desk or something like that, this works a lot. And then if you have work orders, I think it was designed to, you know, clip your work orders onto here. So that slides forward, and then when I open it up, it's got a nice shallow tray and then a deep tray, and I don't even know what I have in here, but here's an extra that's an extra cigarette lighter power that we have converted to USB, and then it does have the AC power in it, but that is super deep. So I've got binoculars down in there, and oh, that's my maintenance manual. So really nice and deep. I really like that. I'm able to store a lot of stuff in there. Oh, really quick to let you know, the charger, and I have a double charger in here because this one goes to my phone, that one goes to my iPad, and then I have an extra one right there. These only work when the van is on. So when you turn the van off, you're not charging your phone or anything like that if the van is off. The power port in the console does work 24/7. So whether the van is off or not, it does work, which is nice. You do have the option to charge your phone or whatever without running the vehicle. So I think that's it for the driver's side. So it is it's a very comfortable van. You sit up really high, you can see really well. I really like it. It's definitely very, very comfortable to road trip in. Okay, so the passenger side, the same thing. You got the deep mat pocket. My wife keeps all kinds of goodies in there, everything from dog waste bags to rain ponchos to tissues, an extra lighter for the campsite, and then her personal kit. There is no drawer on the passenger side. I do have a little step stool down in there because when my mom was having some health issues, she's having a hard time getting in the van, so we put a step stool in. And then I store my 4-way lug tire iron underneath the seat for the trailer in case we have a flat tire. And then it has a nice big deep glove box, so there's plenty of storage on the van. And then there's another view of the cup holder and the deep the deep little tray there, the storage tray. So it gives you an idea of a lot of room. And then if this slides forward, you know, you can see that you've got kind of a workspace there. One neat thing on this front seat is that if you fold it down all the way, which I can't do because there we go. You can fold it down all the way, and then that creates a surface where you can put a laptop. At least that's what this design is for. And then when it's up, you've got clips where you can hang a garbage bag. So it's kind of a neat feature on the seat. And so I think that's that. We're going to go ahead and open the slider. If you don't push the slider all the way back, it will close on you, especially if you're pointed nose downhill. So I have this in what I call the limo mode, where I have the middle row of seats out. There's a middle row that would go right there, and then that's the third row of seats, and then there's a fourth row that would go back there. But I have those out because what I do when I'm camping, especially if it's just me and the kids and my mom's not with us, is I put our coolers right here. That way it's really easy to get in and out of the coolers. I can just pull it, you know, I can pull it over right here and drain them if I need to. I have 210 quart coolers and a 65 quart cooler that I put in here when I need to. And then that right there is the air intake for the rear air. And then the vents are up on the ceiling. There's 2 for the middle row, 2 for the third row, and 2 for the back row, as well as lights that are independently operated or operated when the doors come on. That window does slide open, so you can get a little bit of air. The rear windows do not, just that side window. So this van will seat 12 when all the seats are in it, and I'll pull the rug away here. So it does have carpet floors, which is a real bummer for me. I wish that it had rubber floors because for camping and all that stuff, we track dirt and sand in here all the time. That is the heater vent for the rear heat. And then you just pull these up with a little flathead screwdriver, and you can pop these out and put the seats in. You can put them in when you have all 3 rear rows in. The seats have to be all the way forward, but if you have the back row out, you can have the second row and the third row pushed back a little bit for a little more space. So all in all, it does give a tremendous amount of room for kids, coolers, camping gear, fishing gear, and everything else. So with that, I'll take you and show you the rear drawers. Oh, I forgot to mention, there are seat belts at every seat, and then these little cup holders come out, and there's 2 cup holders per 3 seats, so that's nice. And then there's also another cigarette lighter power port with a little cup holder over there against the wall, and then another little storage area over there. So I hope that gives a good view of the interior, and let's go to the rear. So one of my favorite parts of the van is our stickers of all the places that we've been, and hopefully we'll run out of space and have to run those stickers down the side one of these days. But anyway, to open the van, you just open, and then here's the second latch right there, and open that way. Now there is some wasted space on the utility version of the van. That space has like a little shelf and cargo pocket, so I don't know why they didn't do that on the passenger van. It would be nice to have a little storage unit there. And then for some reason they didn't trim out the backside doors, as you can see my reflection there. So the defrost wires are accessible, and I worry about hitting those when I load the van down with camping gear in the back. So that is a little disconcerting, but I wish Nissan would change that, but so far they haven't. Okay, so you can actually open these doors even wider, which is really nice. You just pull that forward and then you just push on the door, and as it swings out, there's a little magnet that catches the door right there and holds it open. And so you can do that on both sides. Come over here and do this one. And that gives you a lot of easy access. And you can see we're in grocery getter mode because we have all of our grocery bags in the back here. But and then here is the second power port. It's a bummer we broke the door off on our first trip, so it's just open all the time. But that's not live unless one, the van is on, and two, the button is pushed to turn on the inverter. And then the other thing that I don't like is that Nissan did give us quite a few of those black plastic covers, but they don't give you ones that fit the back row. And I mean, I would think that for most people, the back row is going to be the row they pull out the most. So why Nissan wouldn't provide plastic covers for those is beyond me. I did ask Nissan, and I think that they told me that the kit of 4 costs over $100. So I just said, forget it. I may make something myself that slots in there at some point in time. I don't know. Right now, just to save the carpet, we use these old blankets. We just throw them in. And then when we track dirt in and everything, or after trips, we just pull them out, throw them in the washing machine, and then clean them out. So over here is the storage for the jack that comes with it for changing tires. And then for people with small kids, which I don't have, there's like an anchor thing for car seats, I guess. I don't know anything about that. I adopted my kids, they were 10 and 6 years old, so they were out of car seats. So I'm a father of 2 and never done a single diaper. Proud of that. So, and then those little straps that you see there are what you pull to be able to take the seats out. So when you pull it, I'm gonna lay in here. When you pull it, when you see red, like that unlocks it. And then when it's in, it's locked in place. So, the seats aren't the lightest in the world. It's definitely either a 2-person job or, unless you're really strong, you know, you can do it 1 person, but it does take a little bit of finagling. I don't move the seats around that much because it's not that convenient, but I have had all 12 in and I've had none of them in. So we do use all the features. Nissan has a neat little website where you can look at all the different seat configurations. You can move things forward and backwards and in and out and stuff like that. So if you're trying to decide how to configure your van, you might want to check out the Nissan website. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the doors. Closing the doors is very easy. You just grab it, and then it will automatically go into that slot like that, and then you just close it. So that is the interior of the Nissan NV. So for you campers and fishermen, a very important part of the van is the factory tow hitch. It does come with a factory tow hitch, and then also a plug, a 7-barrel plug. So if you're running a trailer that doesn't have brakes and it's got a 4-pin connector, you're going to want to buy an adapter or a 5-pin like my boat does, because it has surge brakes. I bought an adapter to go in there. So the towing capacity of this van is, I believe, 8,600 pounds. So it's a lot higher than the other passenger vans on the market from like Ford and Mercedes, which is really nice. So here's the under the hood view of the Nissan NV 3500, and there's the 5.6 liter V8 gasoline engine that comes with the with this model. They also have a V6 model, but I didn't consider that at all because I knew I was going to use it as a tow vehicle. So everything is pretty easily accessible. Obviously the battery is easily accessible. There seems to be quite a bit of room in case you need to get in there, you know, and do anything. So I haven't had to work on anything under the hood on this van yet. So I'm pretty happy about that, although I do need to clean those battery terminals now that I'm looking at it. But everything, your coolant reservoir, everything is very easy to get to. The air filter box, and then one thing I really like, if you're used to driving cars, you know, cars don't take the full window washer fluid bottle. So you always end up with this half a bottle that you don't know what to do with, which is a hassle on a road trip. But these reservoirs take the full gallon, so it's really nice. You can buy a gallon on a road trip, dump the whole thing in there, you know, throw it away right at the gas station, or hopefully if they can recycle it, that's even better. And then, you know, you're not dealing with like a half bottle that's going to leak inside the van or something like that. That was really good when we were driving across South Dakota in the summertime. There were so many bugs on this thing, it was ridiculous. We went through a whole gallon of wash in a day. So, but anyway, that is the under the hood shot. I'm gonna go ahead and close the hood, and it's on gas shocks like most normal cars these days. You don't have to use a hood prop. That closes it. It has, you know, nice front headlights, and it has fog lights, and then some tow hooks, 2 tow hooks on the front, which is handy if you ever get stuck somewhere or just need to use it to pull anything, which I've helped people pull their boat out of the water at boat ramps and stuff. So so with that is the NV passenger front section of the van. So all in all, I think Nissan has created a real winner here with the Nissan NV 3500 passenger van. It does seat 12, although when you have all 12 seats in, you have very little cargo space. So if you're a large family and you've got, you know, you're a mom and a dad with 6, 7, 8 kids, you know, you know, that's a lot of gear. So if you're going to be a family that camps or fishes or gets outside, and you're a large family, the Nissan NV is a great people mover, but you're definitely going to have to pull a trailer or something like that to carry gear. I have used the hitch carriers on the back of the van. I'll put a photo in the video I stacked 2 of our 110 quart coolers on that hitch for our last camping trip. Well, it was 2 camping trips ago, I guess. Thanksgiving to Vogel State Park in the North Georgia mountains. And you know, I'll also put some pictures in the video of just how much camping gear we've stacked in here, and different you know, different configurations. You know, we've had you know, camping gear and clothing and food and everything for 5 people and a dog for a full week. Ends up being a lot of stuff. So if you're a family of 4, it has a ton of room. If you get up you know, 5 plus, then you're going to have to make some decisions about what you're going to take and what you're not going to take. Some downsides. So when I grew up, my family had a Ford Econoline van, and we went all over the country in that van, and you know, I loved it. It was a great little conversion van. And the Econoline vans, as well as the old Dodge Ram vans, you could buy extended length. Well, Nissan does not offer an extended length version of their NV Passenger, which I wish they did. Other van companies also offer high top versions, and Nissan does have a high top version of the NV, but it's only in the cargo configuration. So you can't stand up in this van, which is kind of a bummer. The van we had growing up when I was a kid was an Econoline 150 high top, and it had a TV in it and a Nintendo and all kinds of stuff. It was awesome for road trips. But There's no high top version available. So, you know, Nissan, if you wanted a winner, an extended length van as an option, a high top version for the passenger as an option, and then also the other thing would be that Cummins diesel that you put in the Nissan Titan should definitely be an option for the NV. So those of us who pull campers or trailers can get the diesel fuel economy and the horsepower and torque of a diesel. This van has a 5.6 liter V8 gas engine. It has a tremendous amount of power. I have no problem pulling my boat. I've pulled a couple of cargo trailers with it. It is a great tow vehicle except for the fuel economy. The fuel economy really hits when you're pulling a trailer. It has great acceleration, great power. It's very nimble. It's very easy to drive. It doesn't have excessive roll or body lean. So some big vehicles, they feel kind of tippy. This van doesn't feel that way at all. I'm used to driving big vehicles, so if you're bumping up from like a Honda Accord or Toyota Corolla to one of these things, you might feel a little uncomfortable to start, but you get used to it really fast. They have split mirrors, which I'll show you. I'll go shoot a video of that. But the split mirrors are awesome as well because you can see both the, you know, what's right beside you as well as what's out a little bit farther in the next lane, which are really nice on big vehicles. And then they also telescope out. So when I'm pulling a trailer, I push the mirrors out so I can see around the boat, which is really nice. So I'll shoot a video and show you that, and then I'll be right back. So here's the mirror on the NV, and as you can see, it's quite large. It has a very large top piece, and then as I said, it's a two-piece mirror with a more you know, parabolic mirror. That definitely helps you see what's approaching in the other lane when you're running down the highway or something like that. And then it does telescope out. So if I can, so it does extend out for towing. So that's a very nice feature. So another con of the van, because I want to be totally open and honest in this review, and of course Nissan doesn't sponsor me. If they did, Nissan, I'd love a new one of these, and I'd love a Titan truck in the driveway too. Hit me up at info@kempoutside.com. Just kidding, but not really. The other thing that I ran into with this van that I was really disappointed in is there are some anchor points on the roof for a ladder rack. And again, this is this van started out obviously as a cargo van, as a work van, and so a lot of you know, guys that use these vans for their businesses, you know, need ladder racks and those kind of things. So there's a ladder rack mount up on the roof, and it goes down the roof on each side. And my wife actually backed the van into a tree, and so we took it to a body guy to have it looked at, and he fixed it up for us. My buddy Tim, who owns Alternative Concepts, fixed it for me and took real good care of me. I appreciate that, Tim. He noticed some rust on the roof where those mounts were, and so I took it to Nissan. And I was very clear with them, you know, I'm not going to accept a repair where you just slap some paint on it and call it good, because if that rusts through, then I've got water leaking, you know, somewhere, you know, that would get caught up in this headliner, and then it would make an absolute mess, not to mention the fact that I have a rusting roof on a van that's less than 3 years old. And for, you know, it had about a dime or a quarter size rust spot. So that tells me that it had been rusting from day one, from the day it rolled off the factory. So I don't know whether I just had a defective, you know, roof that the guy who spot welded those tabs on that day did a bad job, or whether Nissan's got a design flaw. So if you are looking at a Nissan NV, I would be seriously concerned about that, especially on the used market. Don't buy an NV without getting up on a ladder and looking at those roof racks and looking for, or roof rack mounts, and looking for rust spots, because that was a very, very disappointing thing for me. But I gotta hand it to AutoNation Nissan in Brandon. I took it to them. They sent it over to their collision center, and those guys fixed it better than factory. They actually filled in those mounts, and I think they're stronger than ever. So they did a great job for me. I'm very pleased with that. So shout out to AutoNation, Nissan Brandon. Good job, guys, on getting that fixed for me, because I was going to hold your feet to the fire if you didn't fix it well enough. Because I'll be honest, it shouldn't happen on a van that's less than 3 years old and still under warranty. Speaking of warranties, so Nissan has a 5-year, 100,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty on their NV passenger van, which is a fantastic warranty. If you go buy a new, Ford van or truck, it's 3 years, 36,000 miles, which, I've had this thing just over 3 years. I'm already at 62,000 miles, so I would have run out of that warranty probably in year one. I think 18 months I had 36,000 miles on this van. So, Ford, you need to step up your game. That warranty sucks. So, you need to do a whole lot better than that. If you want me to come back to buying Ford products, you got to up your warranty game, because Nissan's definitely got you beat there. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else is important. So other things, some of the complaints I've heard, we haven't experienced this. Some people say that the rear AC does not blow cold enough. We haven't had that problem, and I think honestly what happens is those people are people that have kids who make an absolute mess, and then that AC unit on the floor under the first row of seats gets clogged. And then when that gets clogged, then the AC doesn't blow. So, I don't know. That's just my thought, because we keep that pretty clean, and we've never had a problem. The AC blows snowballs, and we are in Tampa, Florida, so that's critical. I would never drive a car that doesn't have AC down here. So that works really well for us. There are some folks who have made an aftermarket filter that goes over that, like a little screen that goes over that to keep that clean. So if you have a bunch of kids and you're considering a Nissan NV, I would definitely recommend putting in that filter before driving the van for a long period of time. So yeah, guys, so overall, this has been an excellent vehicle for our family. It's been an excellent vehicle for camping, for fishing, for our road trips. We took this, we left Tampa, drove all the way to Kadoka, South Dakota, hit Badlands National Park, Custer Wildlife State Park, or Custer State Park, the wildlife loop there, which if you haven't done, it's awesome. Went up Needles Highway to Mount Rushmore, saw Mount Rushmore, then over to Devil's Tower, then across the Bighorn National Forest into Yellowstone, down into the Grand Tetons, over to Rocky Mountain National Park for a couple of days, and Estes Park, then over to Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park and Great Sand Dunes, and then down across Texas and Louisiana, home to Tampa. So we did a massive road trip right after we got it. It performed excellently. It was a great trip there. We've had it all the way from Tampa to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We hauled our boat up there to Whitefish Bay, Lake Superior, put our boat in there, cruised our boat up to the Tequamanon River, which was awesome. We have a lake cabin in our family in central Minnesota. I've been up there a couple of times in it, and then to the North Georgia mountains a couple times. So this van has been all over. We plan to put a ton of more miles on it before we're through, and it works great for us, whether we're road tripping, whether we're pulling our boat, whether we're camping, or just traveling as a family. It's really easy and comfortable. So one other con, Nissan does not offer this in a four-wheel drive option. So that's one other thing that Nissan needs to do. You can get four-wheel drive conversions. There's 2 dealerships out in Utah, I think, that does four-wheel drive conversions. If I lived somewhere where there was snow, I would definitely consider it. It is pricey though. I think it's a $10,000 upgrade, but I've never priced it, so I think that's what I heard on Facebook. But I don't know for sure. If you wanted to do that, Tim Dahl Nissan in Utah is who I've heard is the guy to go to, or the dealership to go to over there. DAHLE, Tim Dahl Nissan. But I haven't talked to them personally, so I can't I can't recommend them, but that's where I would start if I was going to go research a 4-wheel drive conversion for this van. The stock tires that came on it are the Transforce by Firestone. I'm on my original set of tires, and it's got 62,451 miles, and it's still got tread life left. I think I'll get to about 65,000 miles on those tires, which is pretty good, although they are not very aggressive tread. So this van does get stuck on wet grass. So if you're going to be off-road much, I would definitely recommend a little bit more aggressive tires. And there are definitely some options there from a variety of brands. I think my next set of tires are going to be Falcon Wild Peaks. I think is the ones I've been looking at that I'm going to buy, because the driveway up to our lake cabin is a grass driveway. And in the rain last year, we got halfway up the driveway and got stuck. So we had to wait till it dried out to get the rest of the way. So I'm hoping that will solve our traction issue, and it'll allow us to get off road just a little bit more. Other than that, guys, like I said, I highly recommend the van. I think it's a good platform for camping, hiking, fishing. Road trips to national parks, all those things that we do with it. There's plenty of room for the kids, for my mom to travel with us, and for the dog. The dog really likes the open space. She's able to lay down. We're able to carry plenty of gear with us. It's got a fantastic towing capacity. So overall, if you're looking for a full-size van, I may be partial, but I think Nissan was the right choice for us. The only other one I'd even consider would be the Mercedes Sprinter, just because of the high top option, the little diesel option, and the extended length option. Gives you more space for sure, but has a smaller towing capacity, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. I've heard it's around the 6,000 pound range, but if you're pulling a big camper trailer or a larger boat, that just isn't going to cut it. So the fuel economy on those vans is amazing, though. I've got a friend who has one, and he road trips in that thing and gets, ridiculous fuel economy, like 20 miles to the gallon or something like that. But it's pretty good. But overall, I would have to say I give the Nissan NV 3,500 passenger 2 thumbs up. So good job, Nissan. And if you just make those changes, I'll be at the dealership to trade her in on a new one. So with that, thanks for watching. I hope this was useful to you. If it was, hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to put a little photo montage at the end of this video, just of all of our adventures in the van. And if you want to follow along, so on Instagram, we call this thing the Kemp Bus. So it's hashtag Kemp Bus, KEMPBUS. And so you can check out our photos. Anytime we go somewhere in the Kemp Bus, we throw that hashtag on there on Instagram, so you can follow us along. And I think we use it on Twitter as well. So you can follow us there. And of course, you can follow Kemp Outside. You can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn now, so I've got to upload some videos to LinkedIn. And then also Parlay, which is like Twitter. I'm just checking it out. I figured, why not? There's not a whole lot of people doing camping, fishing, hiking content over there, so I created an account. Whether I keep it or not, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it gains traction. I will. If it doesn't, I won't. So, but you can check us out there too. And by all means, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell to let you know when we release new videos. And like I said on Facebook Live today, I did a Facebook Live earlier today. We are going to go camping and fishing very, very soon. I'm not giving away the location yet, but we're going to do some Facebook Live videos, and then we're going to produce some YouTube content from the campsite and from the water fishing. So I'm really excited. The Safer at Home order is ending here in Florida, and we're starting to be able to get back out and get camping and fishing and all that stuff. So, but by all means, stay safe. If you're immunocompromised at all, please follow that social distancing stuff. Hopefully we can get this over soon and we can all get back to normal life. But at least the state parks are opening back up and that kind of thing. So we're going to get out there and finally shoot some videos on location. So with that, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. And if there's anything you want me to cover, camping, fishing, hiking, national parks, state parks, how to plan trips, gear reviews, anything like that, if you have any questions at all, hit me up at info@kempoutside.com or put a comment down below. And if you have any questions about the Nissan NV, by all means, shout them out to me. I'd be happy to answer them. Like I said, I am not sponsored by anybody, guys. Doesn't mean that I won't have sponsors in the future, but I don't right now. And if I am sponsored by anybody, I will let you know before I do a gear review that I'm sponsored by them. I'm not sponsored by Nissan at all. In fact, I think I hit them pretty hard in this video about the roof rust issue. That it's hard. It's I don't know whether I should even really recommend the van because of that, but it's so good in every other area. I'm going to recommend it. So all in all, I think we have a winner with the NV 3500 passenger van. Despite some of the issues that we've had with it and some of the other downfalls that I mentioned, like no four-wheel drive, no high top, no diesel option, that kind of thing. I still think it's a great van. We use it a ton. It gets us everywhere we want it to go. And so up next is a little photo montage of some of our adventures in the Kemp bus. So check it out. There are photos from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, from Rocky Mountain National Park, Yellowstone National Park, and a couple other camping adventures that we've had. I think Louisiana's in there, a few other places. So you can see kind of how we use it, and there's some photos of how we've packed it, and so just enjoy those, and thanks for watching. So I hope you found this video useful, and like I said, please hit that subscribe button and follow along with us. Thanks for watching Kemp Outside. And again, if you have any questions about the Nissan NV, certainly drop those in the comments or shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to answer them. We'll see you next time on Kemp Outside, where your inside source for all things outside. Take care.